think it is? ADD.
You have ADD?
Yes. That's why I'm so bad at housework.
Oh, is that it?
I'm just saying a deadline would be good.
So a deadline. I love deadlines. I love the sound they make as they go whooshing past. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I mean it.
Okay, so a year or so.
A year? This thing weighs like 2 pounds. I have a full-time job. Sometimes I don't get home until 8 or 9 o'clock, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Is it crazy?
Yes. Yes. Okay, you want to do Blog C?
Yes.
Blog C it is.
Nobody here but us servantless American cooks.
Servantless American cooks.
What do you think?
Love it. Start blogging.
The Julie/Julia Project. The book, Mastering the Art of French Cooking. First edition, 1961, by Simone Beck, Louisette Berthold, and, of course, Julia Child, the woman who taught America to cook and to eat. It's 40 years later, and no one can touch her. The challenge? 365 days, 524 recipes. The contender? Julie Powell. Government employee by day, renegade foodie by night, risking her marriage, her job, and her cat's well-being, she has signed on for a deranged assignment. How far it will go, no one can say.
Dear Charlie, we're settled in finally, and Julia loves it here. She wants to stay forever. You know how famously grouchy the French can be, dear brother.
You're so delightful.
Yeah. But Julia brings out the best in a polecat.
So charming.
So she thinks they're the most wonderful people in the world.
I feel that I am French. I just must be.
Well, you might be. As for staying here forever, I have to say, I wouldn't mind it myself. I'm so glad you came.
Thanks for coming.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, congratulations. Excellent exhibit.
Thanks so much, Jack. Jack Donovan, this is my wife, Julia.
It was such a wonderful exhibition, Paul.
Thank you.
It really.
Thank you.
I am so proud.
Thank you.
Oh,
good.
French people eat French food every single day. I can't get over it.
They do.
You know, I love you so much. I'm going to let you take the first bite.
So
Before I even say it's good. What should I do, you think?
About what?
I don't really want to go back into government work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but shouldn't I find something to do? Wives don't do anything here. That's not me. This is not me.
Yeah.
I saw a notice on the bulletin board at the embassy for hat-making lessons.
You like hats?
I do.
What is it that you really like to do?
Eat.
I know. And you're so good at it.
am
Look at
good
you.
at it.
Now,
They're
how
growing
good
in
you are.
front of you. I was thinking of taking bridge lessons.
You like bridge?
I do. I like the idea of bridge.
4 points for an ace, 3 points for a king, 2 points for a queen, 1 point for a jack, and rest your cards.
Do you have any French cookbooks in English?
I'm afraid not.
Gosh. The salesperson, she had no idea. Because, you see, there is no French cookbook in English. And all I have is The Joy of Cooking by Irma Rombach, which is an excellent cookbook, but it's not French. So I did ask my friend Avis Devoto to look around in the United
Madame.
States.
Madame.
If she could find... Right. Right. Gosh, I thought I was speaking French to you. No. Oh, my goodness!
What do we have here? It's my memoirs.
Oh, no. Oh. Fantastic!
You'll get there. You'll get there.
I'm learning. I'm trying. Really? Oh, happy birthday
Here's
to
the-
me.
Happy birthday.
What can this mean?
What?
Then wash the thighs.
No, bathe. Bathe the thighs.
Look, but then en
Right.
beurre, in butter, I know that. But what
Bathe
is-
the thighs in butter.
And then what is that?
And then stuff the, what's that word?
Poulet, the hen.
Right, hen. Until she just can't take it anymore.
It doesn't say
It does. I'll
that.
show you later in the dictionary. I'll go through the whole recipe with you.
Why don't I go to cooking school?
Why don't you?
I'm serious.
So am I.
What if you hadn't fallen in love with me?
But I did.
Yesterday was Tuesday, August 13th, 2002. Day 1. 364 days to go. I cooked artichokes with hollandaise sauce, which is melted butter that's been whipped into a frenzy with egg yolks until it's dyed and gone to heaven. And let me say this, is there anything better than butter? Think it over. Every time you taste something that's delicious beyond imagining, and you say, what is in this? The answer is always going to be butter.
It's incredible.
It's been whisked into submission, that's why. The day there's a meteorite heading toward the Earth and we have 30 days to live, I am going to spend it eating butter. Here's my final word on the subject. You can never have too much butter. August 24th, day 11. What do you mean when you say don't crowd the mushrooms? Is this 353 days to go? A horrible day at work. An old grandma who looked as if she wouldn't harm a fly called me a pencil-pushing capitalist dupe. But then I came home and cooked chicken with cream, mushrooms, and port, and it was total bliss. Here's the big news. I had been cooking mushrooms the wrong way my entire life. Don't crowd the mushrooms, otherwise they won't brown. Are you listening? Whoever you are.
You're gonna love that one.
Day 22.
This one's really good with fig jam.
I got carried away in Dean and DeLuca last night and spent half my take-home pay. And the first thing I realized when I got to the subway with my groceries, a bag of cat litter, a bottle of olive oil I absolutely could not live without, and a huge bunch of branches was that the branches were probably not a good idea. They were slapping folks in the face right and left, and I was sweating like a pig, not surprising since I've been way too busy cooking fattening food to bother exercising. And then I came home and got a big vote of confidence from my mother.
Remind me again why you're doing this,
Vlog.
whatever it's called.
It's a regimen, Mom, like doing sit-ups.
Well, it's just adding pressure.
What pressure?
You have a full-time job, you have a husband, and now you're gonna get sick from blocking.
It's sort of like being in AA.
What are you saying?
It gives you something you have to do every day, one day at a time.
How do you know this lingo? Honey, are you an alcoholic?
I'm saying it's good for me to have short-term goals.
Oh, that is silly. That is just plain silly. Who's reading this blog?
People are reading it, I'm sure.
Well, it's something you decided to do, and you can decide not to, and not one single person's gonna mind.
No, don't you get it? I just started. I can't stop. I have to finish. It's all I've got. Hello? Hello? Stupid dead phone.
Hey, it's not all you got.
I know. I didn't mean that. Yesterday, I poached an egg. It seemed like the perfect thing to do on perhaps the second worst workday in recorded history.
Explain to me how you've never eaten an egg in your whole life.
I've had eggs in, like, cakes. Never had an egg. I was a very willful child. It's simmering. I had this notion, God knows why, that poaching eggs would be simple. But I was deeply wrong.
Gently push the white over the yolk with a wooden spoon for 2 to 3 seconds. Immediately.
Disgusting.
Oh, maybe the eggs aren't fresh. Julia says the eggs have to be fresh.
They are fresh.
Okay. You don't have to bite my head off. I'm just quoting Julia.
It took 3 of us crammed into the kitchen over a pot of simmering water, but eventually, we nailed it.
Hello.
Welcome.
How cute is that?
And I ate my very first egg of my whole life, ever. I thought eggs were going to be greasy and slimy, but it tastes like cheese sauce. Yum. Julia, child, you are so good.
Cheers.
Cheers. And may I say excellent wine?
Do you think Julia knows about you?
I wish. I have this fantasy that she comes for dinner and I show her my new lemon zester. We become very close. The truth is, no one knows about me. I feel like I'm just sending things into this giant void.
Which reminds me, Annabelle's blog. Have you read it lately?
Yes. It's sort of funny.
Is it?
She's dating this rich guy who owns a plane. His name's Lester. And they do it in the air. People love it. It's a huge hit.
What do you think it means if you don't like your friends?
It's completely normal.
Men like their friends.
We're not talking about men. Who's talking about men?
So it's 5 weeks down, 47 to go, and I feel fantastic. Sometimes I can't help but wonder, is there anyone out there reading me? But I'm sure you are, aren't you? Somebody? Anybody? Ernestine, I have a comment. My mother doesn't count.